The key in the flower pot. On Tuesday, Sarah gets off the bus one stop early and walks down a quiet street. Her aunt is out of town for 3 days, and Sarah promised to water the plants in her apartment and bring in the mail. Her aunt lives above a small flower shop. The shop is closed today, but green plants still stand outside. 2 large pots with roses sit near one old clay flower pot by the wall. Still, something looks different. She stops in front of the shop and checks her bag. But she does not have the key to her aunt's apartment. Sarah freezes. Then she remembers her aunt's instructions. The spare key is under the small flower pot beside the wall. Not the new one, the old one. Now she understands what is wrong. Last week, there was only one old clay pot near the wall. Today there are 3, and they look almost the same. One is empty. One has dry soil. One has a small green plant. Sarah kneels down and lifts the first pot. Nothing. She lifts the second one. Only a little stone and some dirt. Then she moves the third pot, the one with the green plant. It is heavier than she expected. Under the edge, she sees a tiny silver key. "There you are," she whispers. She smiles, but only for a second. Next to the key, there is also a folded note. Sarah opens it carefully. The paper feels soft. In blue ink, someone has written, "Please do not move this key. I will come back at 5. There is no name and no apartment number. Sarah reads the note again. Maybe it belongs to a neighbor. Maybe someone else in the building also hides a key here. It would be easy to take her aunt's key, go upstairs, water the plants, and leave. But the note stays in her hand. At that moment, the flower shop door opens. A young worker steps out with a box. "Sorry," Sarah says. "I thought the shop was closed." "It is closed," he says. He puts the box down and looks at the flower pot. "Did you lose something?" he asks. Sarah hesitates, then shows him the note. "My aunt told me there was a spare key under this pot," she says. "I found the key, but I also found this." The worker reads the note and nods slowly. "That is probably for Mrs. Parker on the 2nd floor," he says. "Her son sometimes leaves a key for her." "Really?" "I think so. He is always in a rush. So should I leave it here?" she asks. The worker shrugs. "Maybe. But if your aunt also uses this place, it can get confusing." Then he smiles. "I am Noah, by the way. I help at the flower shop downstairs." He sets the box beside the flower pot near the shop door and looks at the key again. "I am Sarah." For a moment, they both look at the 3 pots and the wall behind them. "If you want," Noah says, "I can wait here while you go upstairs." "I will be quick," she says. Sarah thanks him and goes inside. Upstairs, one small window is open. On the 2nd floor, she opens the apartment. 3 small plants stand near the window, and the soil is dry. She waters the plants first. Then she checks the mail slot. 2 letters have slipped in, along with a train ticket receipt. Near the door, she notices another key with a yellow tag. Her aunt already has a second spare key inside the apartment. That means the key downstairs does not need to stay under the flower pot anymore. Sarah locks the door and goes back downstairs. Noah is still outside, and now Jack's mother is standing near him in a gray coat, slightly out of breath. "This is her," Noah says quietly. The neighbor looks at Sarah with worried eyes. "Did you find a note under the flower pot?" "Yes," Sarah says, and holds it out in her hand. The neighbor relaxes at once. "Thank goodness. My son leaves the key there, but today he used the wrong pot." Sarah shows her the key. The neighbor smiles with relief. "Actually," Sarah says, "my aunt also keeps a spare key there. That may be the real problem." Noah laughs. Then, this little flower pot is more important than the building. Even Sarah laughs. Together they look at the wall again, and notice a narrow, dry space under the stone ledge. This would be better, Noah says. If neighbors must hide keys, they should not all choose the same flower pot. The neighbor agrees immediately. Before leaving, Sarah writes a new note for the shop window: do not use the flower pot. New key place, under the stone ledge. Noah places it inside the shop window. The rain begins softly. Sarah walks back toward the bus stop with a calm smile. She came to water plants and collect the mail. Instead, she fixed a problem before it became a real one. The bus stop sign stands near the corner, and the flower shop window is full of green leaves. One old clay flower pot sits close to the wall beside the shop door and window.